from Finlay Field as the marching band is out there getting us ready to go with the fight song. It's great to see them back. Last week we got to talk about them just a little bit. Our good friend Matt Bagley joined us on the broadcast, and boy, he sure does love himself some Roseburg High School marching band. As we get ready for tonight's matchup, looking at where these two teams have been, Roseburg last week, 35-0, the score against Mountainside. And Josh, numbers from last week's game to paint the same picture as what we saw from when we were there covering the game.
Oh, absolutely, it did. Roseburg last week, they only had 152 total yards from scrimmage last year. They ran the ball for 111 yards, which is good to see. They can still move the ball. Eckel did a great job overall when he was moving the ball for Roseburg, but their passing yards, only 41 yards rushing or passing on the game, and I think that contributes to the communication between the quarterback and the receivers.
They're going to get the national anthem in, so we're going to go ahead and take a 2-minute break. We'll be back after this on 541radio.com and on the score, 92.3 FM and 1490 AM.
Hey there, sports fans. Thanks for watching this local sporting event online at 541radio.com. Did you know there's more than the Scores YouTube channel? Find us on YouTube and subscribe today to keep up with the latest in local sports coverage.
To us, pizza the way it ought to be isn't just our slogan. It's our promise and our passion to give you the best dining experience and the best tasting pizza you expect. For over 40 years, we've been making.
We are back here at Roseburg High School. Josh, we got cut off a little bit looking at last week's numbers, and you mentioned the run game for Roseburg. Great to see that. But passing, as we've continued to talk about, getting on the same page as sophomore quarterback in Owen Bentia, trying to get on the same page with his receivers for tonight to see if Roseburg's able to find a way to get that cohesive field.
Absolutely, and I think this week we're going to be able to see that happen. I think another week of practice, the sophomores that you were talking about that got into the game, a sophomore quarterback that played on the freshman team last year coming straight into that varsity, I think you're going to be able to see that. They got to see a live action against a good opponent, and now they know what it's like. So I think this week they're going to have probably worked on that quite a bit in practice. I would be really shocked if they did not. So I think we're going to see it come together a little bit better. And last week was only week 1. We're into week 2. This is a 9-game schedule. So long ways to go in the season still, only into the second week. So I have a lot of hope still left for this Roseburg Indian team.
Well, and the non-conference games that will hopefully help Roseburg's record RPI and then get into league. You got to finish top 5 to get an automatic qualifying berth into the OSAA 6A state playoffs. If you're watching online at 541radio.com or on our YouTube channel, thanks for tuning in. We are experiencing some technical issues. We are hoping that as the temperatures drop for us here today, that we will be able to see things stabilize just a little bit. So if you're watching, just bear with us. Hopefully as the game wears on, we will get things figured out here. So we'll keep an eye on that. We got to get in a final break, but here comes Roseburg out onto the field. They're going to be heading out for the coin toss with Nelson, and we'll have that and your opening kick for you when we come back. This has been the Roseburg Disposal pregame show. You can let them make the run to the dump for you. Give them a call at 673-7122. We'll be back after a 2-minute timeout on 541radio.com and on the score, 92.3 FM and 1490 AM.
I was going to say it's a nice fall, brisk day, getting ready for Friday Night Lights, but no, it's very smoky. You could actually smell the smoke today with how smoky it is, and very hot, unusual for the second week of high school football. We dealt with the heat in the first week last year and the smoke. We're dealing with the heat again the second week and the smoke.
Yeah, feels a lot like game one last year for Roseburg football. If you're watching online, it looks like maybe right now you're able to hear us and watch the video stream, but be aware that it has been having issues. You can listen to the game on the Score, 92.3 FM and 1490 AM if you're in the Roseburg, Douglas County area. If you are outside the area or it's easier to listen online, you can listen on the 541 Radio app or go to 541radio.com and listen live to the Score. And hopefully the video stream gets better as the night wears on. But as we get going, Josh, it looked like Roseburg was receiving the football, I think is what they said.
I was not actually 100%.
You were listening to me. You were watching me.
Yeah, I was watching
okay.
you and the frustration you have on your face over the computer not working correctly.
Well, you know what? We're going to get through this one way or the other, and I think that the heat just has me cranky.
It will do that.
Yeah, it does sometimes. Well, we get ready to go. Roseburg is sending the return unit out. So it looks like they will be receiving the football.
And there is a number 53 on the sidelines as well as a 54.
So we'll just have to do our best guessing here on who is who out there. Roseburg will send, they'll be moving right to left on your radio dial. Deep breath, let's all get ready and have a fun night here tonight. Roseburg will have Landon Hodges and Caden Eckel deep to return, both inside the 5, is getting ready to kick the ball away. Is Henry Nelson, right-footed kick, will go short to the 15-yard line, picked up there, and returned beyond the 20. The return man, Brody Robinson, takes it from the 15 out to the 26-yard line, and it'll be first down and 10 for Roseburg. So Roseburg will have the football moving right to left. It'll be Owen Bentia, your starting quarterback. He runs out to the huddle. Last week, Bentia 7-16 through the air, 41 yards total through 2 interceptions in his first start at the varsity level. He'll spread out 3 targets to the left side of the formation, 1 alone to the right, and in the backfield to his right is Caden Eckel. The junior had 80 yards last week. It's a keeper for Bentia, runs right into the teeth of the defense, and Bentia will get swallowed up, but not before he picks up about 5 yards on first down.
And that was a very good quarterback draw up there. He was not afraid of contact against that defensive line and the linebackers for Nelson, and he just held that ball in securely, picked up, looks like almost 6 yards, and then kept the ball moving.
So the ball goes out to the 31-yard line. That's a pickup of 5. Just under 6. Shotgun snap. They give it to Eckel, running left side. He buried his head in the backside of one of his linemen, and that is Brayson Parker on that left guard, trying to run behind the sophomore, and it's a pickup of just 1 on the first carry for Eckel. It'll make it 3rd down and 4.
And right now the keys for the offense for this game, you've got to sustain your drive. So right now this is big for Roseburg. You're at 3rd and very manageable, 3rd and 5. You've got to pick up the first down, sustain your drives. They had a little bit of trouble last week sustaining drives. They get into that 3rd down and it would just halt.
Last week, Roseburg on 3rd down, it was not great. 1-for-11. They'll set up with Eckel to the right of Bentia. Jace Wilder, the lone target to the left side. Looking to the right, they'll dump it off into the backfield. It's Eckel, makes the first man miss, but only gets back to the line of scrimmage. It'll be no gain on 3rd down, and this Nelson defense is coming up with a big stop here in the early going of this ball game. Back to the line of scrimmage on the pass play, and Roseburg will have 4th down and 4.
And right now it's the exact same kind of play calling we saw last week. Run, 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 and then a screen pass. And that's good if they can actually get the blocks down the field to be able to pick up that first down.
First reception of the season for Eckel, but it goes for no yardage. 10 minutes to go in the first quarter. Tiger Black out to punt it away from the 20. He gets a big boot, but it's wobbly towards the sideline. It'll hit at the 33 and out of bounds. They will give him a couple more yards down to the 31. Nelson will have the football with 9:51 to go in the ball game. They'll have it at their own 31-yard line after the punt by Roseburg. Today's game is brought to you by Cascade Community Credit Union, belong to Douglas County. Here comes the offense for Nelson. It'll be a sophomore on the other side starting for the Hawks, although he got time starting as a freshman. It's Avery Durdall, a sophomore, 6 foot, 185 pounds. A transfer from Virginia, Jaden Seiler will be in the backfield to his right. They'll spread out twins to either side of the formation. No tight end for the Hawks as they look to pass on first down, going the out route into the flats, and it is caught, and that will be Reed Gray, the senior wide receiver last week, 153 yards and a touchdown, and a 28-0 win over Aloha. And from the 31, they take it out to the 38-yard line, a pickup of 7.
And it was Boston Williams that came in and got the stop right there. Didn't quite wrap up on that tackle. That's kind of not what you want to see if you're Roseburg and you're coaching how to tackle, but he did end up getting the ball carrier down.
2nd down and 3. Roseburg with the 4-man front, calling for the snap. They'll hand it off. Seiler in the middle, was trying to find an opening. A lot of juke moves in the middle of the defense. Didn't gain a lot of yards, but he does gain enough to get to the 40 to make it 3rd down and 1.
And that defensive front for Roseburg did exactly what they did last week. They closed the hole. 2 guys off that defensive line closed in on the running back. Didn't allow him to pick up very much of anything, and that's what they've got to do today. Continue to be dominant on the front, but if you're in the secondary, you've got to stop the pass, because last week this Avery Durdall passed 13 for 17 for 291 yards. So you've got to stop the pass.
3rd down and short. They fill. It's Williams in the hole at the 40. They give him a beneficial spot, but I think it's short. They needed the 41, and I don't think he quite got the football all the way there. It's going to be 4th down and inches. Coming in to fill, the senior linebacker, Boston Williams, makes a stop.
And that's huge. That's huge for this Roseburg defense. We saw last week when it came down to the 4th down on the goal line, they need to stay big and be able to stop that run one more time.
4th down and inches. Going for it is Nelson, trying to get Roseburg to jump, and they may now look to punt it away. They look to the sideline. Roseburg still ready, waiting for a snap. 4th down and inches. Early decision here for the Hawks. The quarterback, Durdall, clapping his hands. Now will get the snap. Looks to pass out into the flats. And tackle's made in. Did they say he hung on to it? It is. The catch was made out in the flats by Max Kirsch, the senior, but he loses yardage back to the 40, and Roseburg will get a turnover on downs.
And that's exactly what this Roseburg team needs. It was great to watch them swarm to the ball carrier. They had 2 guys in the vicinity of the pass. They tried to set up a screen pass, Nelson did, and they were able to come off their blocks and make that tackle.
7:40 to go in the first quarter, and now Roseburg with the turnover on downs deep in Nelson territory have the ball at the Nelson 40. Bentia leads them out with Eckel to his left, Wilder to the left side, White and Loomis out to the far side. Handed off, Eckel will run right side over the line, and he'll pick up good yardage on first down to the 36-yard line. It'll be a pickup of 4 for Caden Eckel.
And that's good. You got to get this run game established. They're doing a good job of doing that, but they need to open up that pass play as well.
Eckel with 2 carries for 5 yards total. Out there on the far side, Josiah Bazio, a senior transfer from Spokane, getting time out on the field. They give it to Eckel again. He continues to push with his second effort, gets inside the 35, and it looked like initially stopped on that play, Josh, but he continued to churn the feet and found a way to get a little bit out of that.
Yes, Eckel does a great job overall. I mean, he's the workhorse on this offense for sure. You've got to pretty much put the load on his shoulders a lot if you're Roseburg, and they're doing a great job at it, but Eckel does a great job at making something out of nothing.
It's again 3rd down, though. 3rd down and 4 for Roseburg. They've got to get it to the 30. It's White, Bazio, and Luther spread out wide to the right side of the field. Bentia in shotgun, 4 yards deep. It's going to be a quarterback keeper. He runs right up the middle, but hesitation. It was there. I think Kyler Mills, the right guard, turned and was waiting for the quarterback to run right through the middle of the hole.
Yeah, it was there. He was hesitation For sure. And if you're Roseburg right now, you got to go for it.
And they go to the 32, picked up 2. They're going to go for it, and they will not get it. It's Eckel trying to spin through and coming up to make the stop. Alex Nita, the linebacker, fills the games, trying on 4th down, but unable to convert. And Roseburg will end up 1 yard shy as they get taken down at the 31.
It's very interesting that Roseburg on that series there, it was only 1 down, but they decided to run the ball all 4 downs.
So the turnover on downs gives it back to Nelson with 6:05 to go. Here in this first quarter, Nelson will have it at their own 31-yard line. Dirtall dropping back to pass. Pressure coming. Boston Williams got hands in the face. The pass is up, trying to fight back to the football. One-on-one coverage downfield for Roseburg. In coverage was Brogan Rackley, and he was fighting against Max Kirsch. That ball launched. Boston Williams with the quarterback hurry.
No, that was awesome by him. He was able to get his hands up, and as the quarterback came down with his arm, he hit one of the Roseburg players there. It was a great pass kind of breakup. He had to really launch at a wrong angle, too, for the receiver, which kind of overthrew him.
Clock stops with 5:59 to go here in our scoreless first quarter. For those watching online, we will see if we can include the stats or the graphics coming up here as things progress. Right now, we're just trying to keep the video stream up and running. The handoff, and in the backfield is Tiger Black. He swallows up Jaden Seiler. A big play for the senior defensive end. He read that one perfect and fills right where they hand the ball off.
And still tonight, when you look at this front 5, front 6 for Roseburg, they're doing exactly what they did last week. You're going to have to rely on them a lot this season, and they're not disappointing tonight.
As a loss of 4, a tackle for loss. That's the 3rd of the season already for Tiger Black. He had 2 last week in that loss against Mountainside. He'll set up on, they put him in the middle at a nose tackle to this week. Tyler Reitman up at the line. He tries to blitz. He fills the gap. Rolling to his left is Dirtall looking downfield. He will try to escape to the sideline. All he can do is the sophomore tucks it and runs across the far sideline and out of bounds. Didn't have the wherewithal to throw it away and save the yardage. Instead, he will take a huge loss of yardage on 3rd down, and now it'll be 4th and long for the Hawks and likely the punt unit coming out.
And it was a great job by Roseburg's defense. Nelson was trying to spread the field, and it was an amazing job by them to make sure they contained that outside and not allow anything on that outside.
Roseburg will send Eckel back to return on the punt. Nelson, the punter for this Hawks team. The right-footed kicker, not a good one. Wobbly towards the sideline, will not get across the 50. It goes out at the 42-yard line, and for a second straight time, Roseburg starts with the football in Nelson territory. 5:03 to go here in the first quarter. Still scoreless between these two teams as they try to get things off and rolling. Well, here comes the offense for a 3rd time for Roseburg. We'll see if they can get a first down. It would be their first of the night. Tonight's ball game brought to you by DC Farmers Co-op, where everyone is welcome to shop. Ball on the left hash mark. White and Wilder to the left. Bazio and Luther to the right. Pistol formation. 3 yards deep is Bentia in shotgun with Eckel 3 yards behind him. They look to the sideline and check the playbook on their wrist. White initially moved from the left side of the formation, goes back to his position in the slot on the left side. The snap, been looking to pass on the left side, goes down the sideline, and that one's caught by Jace Wilder. The senior has his first catch of the season, and it's the first down of the night for the Roseburg Indians.
And Sam Lewis for Nelson was in coverage there. He had his hands up. It was good coverage. That was just a perfectly placed ball by Roseburg.
26 yards through the air for Bentia, connecting with Wilder for his first catch of the year. And it's 1st down and 10 from the 16-yard line for the Tribe. Bentia moves White in motion. Give it to Eckel up the middle, runs into some blockers, does fall forward across the 15 down to about the 13-yard line. So it'll be a pickup of 3 on first down. And, boy, he almost had a wide-open lane but ended up right in the back of one of his blockers.
Yeah, if he did not hit that blocker, he probably picks up at least 5 yards. It was a big hole that closed very quickly by him running into one of his linemen.
18 and counting in the first quarter. Roseburg trying to take their first lead of the night. It would be their first lead of the season. Move White in motion, hand it off to him on the end around. Stiff arm, tries to get free, goes down hard. A defender came in, launching, looked kind of head first. As whistles from the backside, a penalty flag is out. And it looks like White got right back to the line of scrimmage, and that was all.
And this is in the area of possibly holding by one of the Roseburg receivers.
And it would just, if that's the case, that's a brutal one because it's way away from the other side of the play.
Yeah, it's the opposite side of the field. You should not have to hold one of the cornerbacks on that far side of the field.
Right now, as it stands, it would be 3rd down and 7 from the 13-yard line. But the officials are meeting out in the middle of the field here on this muggy, warm Friday night in the Umpqua Basin. Here comes the call from our white hat. Face mask penalty against the defense. It'll stay 2nd down. And that I would think is a face mask, not an automatic.
It should be an automatic first down.
They said it's still 2nd down.
It may be just hands to the face.
Maybe that. Yeah, that might be. They put the ball down to the in between the 7 and the 8-yard line, so down to the 8-yard line on the penalty. So the Nelson penalty takes it down to the 8, and it'll stay 2nd down. They give it to Eckel, and coming in to blow that one up, that is Alex Leontuck that gets in to make the stop in the backfield. Drops him back to the 10-yard line. And it'll be 3rd down now because it wasn't a fresh set of downs. It's now 3rd down and about 3 for Roseburg. So a loss of 2 on that run by Eckel. Looking to pass, Bentia tries to set up the screen, and he overthrows Eckel in the middle, had him open. But a lot of big defenders in front of him, and he just had to jump to try and get it over the top of the defense, and he misfires on 3rd down.
When you set up that screen, you've got to throw the ball out fast, and Batia did not do that. He allowed number 24, Owen Hunt, for Nelson to be able to get to him and pretty much put him on his back as he was throwing that ball.
3:06 to go, first quarter, still scoreless, and Roseburg looks like they're leaving the offense out there. We have not seen them attempt a field goal kick. I've been told that I believe it would be maybe Landon Hodges to place kick. I think we saw Tiger Black do the kickoff duties last week, so not sure who you'd see if it was a field goal or PAT. Roseburg got to get this play off. In shotgun, 4th down and 3. They still have some time on the play clock. Now the official raises the arm. Bentia in shotgun. Not sure if he's trying to draw him off or if they want a penalty. It'll be a timeout taken by Roseburg. Let's go ahead and take one as well, a 30-second timeout. And we will come back with more Roseburg High football here on 541radio.com and on The Score, 92.3 FM and 1490 AM. Right, trying to set it up, going back the other way. There was a collision in the middle of the field, and the defender's the one getting up trying to call for a penalty flag. It was a crossing route in the backside. Caden Luther, the sophomore, ran into a defender, got held up, and the throw was just too far out in front after Luther got hung up with the defense.
And Coach Heiberger was on the sideline trying to get a penalty for interfering with the route. Either way, I think it was good defensive coverage. I don't think there was a penalty on either side.
So he is knocked away by Boston Williams, racing back to get to the receiver, Luke Womack. That pass just took too long to get to him, and Boston Williams goes all out Superman and gets a fingertip to knock that ball away. It'll be 3rd down and long.
And right now, if you're Roseburg, you know this is a pass, and so it's going to be interesting. I think this is going to be a play here that we're going to see how good this defense has improved from last week to this week.
They've been stout so far. They set up 3rd down and calling for the snap, some pressure coming. 43, a 3-and-out for the Hawks offense. And they will have their second punt of the night. And Roseburg gets the football back with 2:08 to go in the ball game. Roseburg has it still on the Nelson half of the 50 with their offense back out for a 4th time. Starting at the Nelson 43. Today's game brought to you by Good Vibration Solutions for home theater and automotive audio. You can feel it at Good Vibration. Wilder to the left side of the formation. Move. The sophomore at the 10, and the quarterback taking that down from behind across the near sideline. Another 1st down for Roseburg. They will have 1st and goal from the 8. And Bentia is down. He got hit hard from the backside as he took off to run on that play. Bentia goes down to the 9 is where they officially spot him. That'd be a pickup of 14 on the ground for the sophomore. But now the question is, can he come back into the game? He's getting looked at by the trainer. And he is having a hard time getting up. Now, quarterback last year. But now it'll be Jace Wilder that takes over as the backup quarterback. He's in shotgun with Eckel to his left, handed off to Eckel, running left side. He bounces it around the tackle, inside the 5, almost slipped it. If he does not get brought down by Max Kirsch, he's into the end zone. Kirsch with a touchdown-saving tackle.
Very good run.
Again, backup quarterback, taped up a little bit, and I think will try to come back in at some point. But at the moment, it's Wilder holding. The right-footed kicker will be Hodges. His kick is away, but he pushes it right, and so the kick no good. And now Roseburg with a 6-0 lead and 13.2 seconds to go in the first quarter will be kicking away and he'll move it to the 49 on Roseburg's half of the field, and it's 1st down and 10 for the Hawks. Well, in an attempt to get everybody that loves watching the game online back up and running, we're trying to fire up the video stream again here for you folks, so hopefully we can keep that going. Turn handed off. Seiler running right side, cuts back to the left, and Roseburg collapse. No over pursuit from the backside. It's Tyler Reitman that jumps in there, and he will make the tackle down to the 47. That'll be a pickup of 2 on the ground for Jaden Seiler. 2nd down and 8. 3-man front for Roseburg. They had a 4-man front earlier. They've switched it up a bit here. Clock running at 3:05. They go pistol, fake the handoff, rolling to his right. A lot of space out there for Dirtall. At the line of scrimmage, it tosses it late. He stayed behind the line of scrimmage, gets it away to his target. Downfield, that was Connolly Courtney with the catch to move the chains.
And that was good wherewithal by Dirtall to sit there and know where the line of scrimmage was. He did not have very far, less than half a yard before he was past that line of scrimmage. He was still able to get that ball out as he was on the move.
1st down on the 12-yard completion. It'll set up 1st down and 10. Dropping back, they try to set up the screen out in the flats. It's caught, but nowhere really to go. A pickup of 2 down to the 34-yard line. Now really a pickup of 1 on the pass play. And that one into the hands of Womack on the completion.
One thing great about Roseburg playing a lot of screen on their offense is they get to see it a lot in their practice. So the defense kind of knows what to do and how to shed the blocks, and they're showing it today. They're doing a great job against Nelson and their screen game.
2:04 and counting here in the first half, looking to go deep downfield. Big arm out of Durdahl to the end zone, and it's overthrown. Intended for Womack. Out there in coverage for Roseburg was Brody Robinson, and he was step for step with Womack, but he gives up a lot of inches.
Yes, he does. Brody Robinson did a great job at actually not giving up a whole lot of speed on that. He stayed with him the whole time, so he was not getting beat, but he is quite a bit smaller than the Nelson's receiver.
1:57, the clock stopped here in the first half. It is 14-12 our score. Seeing comments that we got the video stream back up and running on YouTube, so I hope that it stays there. Keep your fingers crossed, folks. I didn't think that the heat was going to be as effective as it was here tonight, and it does seem to be cooling off in the booth. Looking to pass, Durdahl goes to the out route to the sideline and overthrows Womack. Womack continues to be a favorite target. Last week had 3 catches. That was second most on the team behind Reed Gray, but he's really targeting the big 6'4" target out there down the field.
Oh, he really is, and 6'4" is what he is, and then Brody Robinson is the one that's defending him. He's only 5'9", 145 pounds.
1:53 and counting here in the first half. It's 14-12, Nelson in front. Their kickoff return for 90 yards for a score, giving them the lead. Roseburg almost jumps on 4th down and 8 here. And Nelson stares to the sideline. They tried to draw him off. Now do they get the snap done in time? Clock winding down, and there's the penalty flag. They draw the delay of game, which might possibly have been what they were hoping for.
They were hoping that Roseburg would jump off sides or at least get the delay of game. You move it back 5 yards so that possibly, if you don't have that great of a kick, or if you have a great kick, it actually will pin them inside of the 10-yard line. I was watching during warm-up for both the punters out there, and they were only making about 30 yards. So right now, it looks like they'll be kicking from, the 45 almost on the other side of the field. So I don't know if they'll even get that inside the 10.
They adjust it. It's down to the 39. I was kind of thought that was an extra yard there. Yeah, the punter is at his own 46-yard line. Kicking it away is Nita. Didn't get a great one. That one glanced off of a Roseburg player. Did it stay in bounds? And it's Nelson football. It hit off of one of the return men for Roseburg and picked up at the 10. And Nelson catches a break.
And that's just a mistake by Roseburg that you don't want to hear. The entire Roseburg sideline was yelling Peter. When you yell Peter on special teams on a punt, that means get away, come forward, get away from the kick, find the ball, get away from it. Horrible job by Roseburg's return team of trying to get away from that ball.
So Nelson will have it with 1:43 to go here in the first half. A break for the Hawks, and they've got a chance to try and add points here in the before the halftime break. Nelson will get the ball to start the second half, too. They go in the pistol formation, move a tight end to the left side, hand it off. It's Saylor trying to find space, and it has just been nothing for the running back. The senior, Jaden Seiler, gets stopped right at the line of scrimmage, falls, maybe squeezes his way forward for a gain of 1.
Well, and last week he didn't have necessarily the best game either. He's rushed 9 times for 35 yards. It seems like so far Nelson's identity is with the pass. Roseburg's doing a great job at breaking up that pass, but this front line for Roseburg's hard to run on. You could ask last week's team the exact same question.
So far, Seiler tonight, 9 carries, 20 yards. They will run the offense out there, trying to score before the break. Looking to pass, going the fade route to the end zone. A lot of pushing and shoving. 2 flags out in the end zone. Question's going to be, who's it against?
I think if I saw that correctly, it should be against Nelson. The receiver pushed off of the defensive player before the ball even got anywhere close to them.
We'll wait to see what the official, the white cap, will tell us here. And they are marking it off against Roseburg from the 9. It should be about half the distance of the goal line. They put it at the 4.5. So pass interference against Roseburg in the end zone.
And I don't necessarily agree with that call because the receiver, before there was any contact or whatever, actually pushed off against the Roseburg defender there, just kind of pushed him, trying to knock him down so he'd have a better
pitch to the left side. Give it to Seiler. Penalty flag out as Seiler diving. He came up short of the end zone, down at the half-inch line, but there's a penalty flag out, and that's in the area of a possible hold against Nelson here. 49.7 seconds to play, and it is a penalty against the Hawks to back up that one.
Yeah, it is a holding on the Hawks on that one. It was thrown in the area where the white hat stands. Normally, if he throws that flag, you're going to almost, I'd say 90% of the time, guarantee that's a hold.
So it'll be a 10-yard penalty from the 8. So they back him up to the 18. And it'll be second down and goal from the 18 with 49.7 seconds to play. It was a running play. The clock is stopped. They got to wind it here. They're trying to tell them to wind the clock here. There they go. 48 seconds of counting. Pass out in the flats. It's caught. Sliding down to make the catch was Seiler. And the clock should continue to run unless timeout is called. It is. That was actually a loss of 2 yards back to the 20 on that pass play. And the clock stops with 41.1 seconds to go.
And if you're on the 20-yard line, the only reason you call a timeout at this point in time for 3rd and 20 is that you're going to set up a game plan for hitting this play and going for it on 4th down. You don't have a whole lot of time left on the clock, 41.1 seconds. You're going to want to have 2 plays drawn up. Most likely they're going to be pass plays as well.
Right now, Roseburg trailing by 2 here in the first half. Coming up, we'll have your halftime report. We'll get a chance to look back at the first half. I know if you've normally watched the game online, you probably had a spotty first half, so we'll try to get you all caught up for the second half coming up. And that'll be coming up during the halftime show. Tonight's game is brought to you by Evergreen Family Medicine, serving residents of Roseburg and Myrtle Creek with 40 providers and adding coverage in Sutherland by April of 2023. Tonight's video stream is sponsored by the Cow Creek Tribe. And hopefully temperatures next week will not be nearly as difficult to manage. I thought about bringing the little AC unit that I have, but I don't even know if it would have made a difference here tonight.
I'm not even quite sure. It never felt that hot up here, though, really.
But it is cooling down for sure. 3rd down and goal from the 20 here for Nelson. 41 seconds to go. They're trying to add points, leading by 2. Looking to pass. Quick throw towards the end zone. A fight for it. The penalty flag is out. And the pass was incomplete. The defense came up with the football, but I think they're going to call pass interference against Roseburg.
And if they call pass interference on Roseburg, I don't know how, because the defender actually was completely turned around, looking at the ball, jumping up, wasn't even touching the receiver.
It is pass interference against – no, it's pass interference against the offense.
Yeah, that's what – yeah, and Heiberger was about to go off. The white hat said, "Oh, my bad. It's actually against Nelson there. And it didn't make any sense for it to be against Roseburg.
So it would make it 4th down and goal from the 20 if they declined it.
I think they did decline it.
There's 36.1 seconds. No, they're counting it off here.
They're saying they declined it. That's what the coaches are saying. It should be 4th down.
Well, this is where some of my knowledge of the rule book comes out. Is it a loss of downs when it's the offensive penalty?
Yes,
but now they're walking it back to where the 20. So they want it to be 4th down. Give them one last try to see if they can do something with it here. So it's either incomplete or it's a pass interference penalty. So it is 4th down. The ball is going to be put back at the 20. So instead of a penalty, it's going to be an incomplete. And this will give Nelson one last try with 36 seconds to try and find the end zone, and Nelson's going to call a timeout. We're going to keep it right here. 36.1 seconds to go. Joey Kieran and Josh Nelson with you from Roseburg High School. A smoky and cloudy night here in the Umpqua Basin now as the sun is starting to set. The lights are taking full effect, and the temperatures are cooling just a bit, which is beneficial for all humans and electronics. 81 degrees at the moment in the Umpqua Basin.
Well, and the good thing right now is it looks like even though it's got dark, the wind has kind of stopped blowing as much as it was blowing, and it looks like the smoke is kind of lifting a little bit. You can't smell it nearly as bad as you could earlier.
So we will hopefully keep things playable through the second half of tonight's ball game. 36.1 seconds to go. So setting the scene here, 4th down and goal from the 20-yard line. Roseburg's defense has come up with a few turnovers on downs already in this ball game. It's been an exciting second quarter with all the action so far. It was 6-0 at the end of the first, and we've seen a bunch of scoring here in the second, including a 90-yard kickoff return for a touchdown by Nelson. They'll set up 2 targets to either side. Ball on the left hash mark. Durdal in shotgun. Blitz coming. They pick it up. Throw to the end zone. 1-on-1. And the ball comes out at the end. The receiver looked like he had made the catch as he was in midair, but the defender puts a hit. It's Brody Robinson that dislodges the football from the receiver as he was coming down, I believe intended for Reed Gray, and he can't hang on. Turnover on downs by Nelson.
It was great job by Brody Robinson there to be able to, he just laid a hit. The second that the ball hit the receiver's hands, he made that hit as hard as he possibly could. He's not very big, Robinson there. He's only 5'9", 145 pounds, but he laid everything he could into that receiver to make sure that pass was incomplete.
So another turnover is on downs, and Roseburg survives the punt that hit off of a player, didn't even realize it was coming at him, and the turnover there by Roseburg. They survive. Handoff up the middle and finding some space, and the wear down effect here in this first half coming into play a bit as Caden Eckel rumbles. Timeout called after the run. I thought maybe a penalty, but no, it's a quick timeout by Roseburg. It'll be 1st down and 10 from the 32. It was a pickup of 12 by Eckel and a timeout by Roseburg.
It was actually Coach Heiberger on the sideline. He followed the line judge as he's running with Eckel. He follows him all the way till he gets tackled, and he's yelling timeout right at the time that Eckel's knee touches the ground.
So 1st down and 10 from the 32. Roseburg has 1 timeout left to go in the first half with 24 seconds to go. And they will try to see if they can dial up a play to go deep downfield. Targets, Jace Wilder is probably your biggest target out there on the receiving core. Josiah Bazio we're seeing tonight for the first time. And on the printed rosters we don't have a height for him, but he looks like a sizable target, the transfer from Spokane. But then you've got Caden Luther at 6'1", the sophomore. Jordan White at 5'9", Brayton Loomis at 5'11". If they try to get a bunch of guys out there, that's kind of the targets you have. They may also go to the screen game. They've got 1 more timeout if they need to use it.
You probably have 3 plays right here with 24 seconds left.
2 targets to the left side. Looking to pass. Bentia goes over the seam route down the field. It is intercepted. And taking the ball away is Evan Ivalia. And his interception will down the ball at the 36-yard line.
Yeah, and Evan Ivalia there with the interception. He's going to the sideline, not really bending. He's grabbing his left hamstring there. I think it's either cramping up or he may have pulled his left hamstring.
So the INT, 3rd of the season for Bentia, just trying to go downfield. And so Roseburg will just go into prevent mode. Nelson will get the football to start the second half. They've got a couple of plays maybe here with 17.1 seconds to go in the first half of this ball game. First turnover really of the night. You had the fumble on the punt that glanced off of a Roseburg player. And I guess that might technically go down as a fumble taken away by Nelson. But Nelson, they are content to go into the locker room with a 2-point lead. 14-12 our score as we end the first half. Nelson on top of Roseburg thanks to special teams. They kneeled the ball down at the 34. And we head to the locker room. Halftime break. It is 14-12. Right now it is Nelson in front of Roseburg. We'll come back and recap the whole first half for you. Joey Kieran and Josh Nelson with you, and plenty of other help here in the booth tonight We'll take the break. Come back after this on 541radio.com and on the Score, 92.3 FM and 1490 AM.
Hey there, sports fans. Thanks for watching this local sporting event online at 541radio.com. Did you know there's more than one way to watch games online? You can watch games on your laptop or desktop computer, your tablet, or even your smartphone just by going to 541radio.com. But we also use YouTube to stream all of our video broadcasts, which means you could be watching this game on your big screen TV with a number of different streaming devices. You can stream our live YouTube broadcast through your PlayStation or Xbox gaming device, or through streaming devices like Google Chromecast, Apple TV, or Roku. There's plenty of ways to follow this live local sporting event. Plus, you can find past events archived on 1490 The Score's YouTube channel. Find us on YouTube and subscribe today to keep up with the latest in local sports coverage.
To us, pizza the way it ought to be isn't just our slogan. It's our promise and our passion to give you the best dining experience and the best tasting pizza you expect. For over 40 years, we've been making pizza the way it ought to be. Handmade with the freshest and finest ingredients. Our dough is made fresh daily, and we use 100% whole milk mozzarella cheese and toppings edge to edge. There's pizza, and then there's Mountain Mike's Pizza. Pizza the way it ought to be.
Deciding where to purchase your next vehicle is just as important as the vehicle itself. At Roseburg Honda, our seasoned staff is dedicated to matching you with the right car. From sales to service, our goal is to make sure all of your needs are met, and you leave our dealership feeling good every time you visit. No need to waste your valuable time driving up and down the freeway when the ultimate car buying experience is right here at home. Roseburg Honda. We treat you like family.
Here at the halftime break, it is Roseburg trailing Nelson 14-12, our score, as we get ready for the second half of action. Joey Kieran and Josh Nelson with you. This is our halftime show. Tonight's game is sponsored by Tim's Appliance and Mattress at the corner of Lane and South Stevens in Roseburg. 0% financing is available. And by B&D Meats, located in Winston. As we get ready for the second half, taking a look at how things played off in the first half, it was a pretty defensive affair. Both offenses trying to figure things out in the first half. And there was punt, turnover on downs, punt, turnover on downs, punt. And finally we get a touchdown. Roseburg continued to start on Nelson's half of the 50 because of bad punts and good field position. And they finally cashed in. It was Caden Eckel on a 2-yard touchdown run. He gets his first rushing touchdown of the season, and he puts Roseburg on top 6-0. The extra point was no good, and that was our score at the end of the first quarter. In the second quarter, Nelson only needed 3 plays to get a score. This time it was a 16-yard touchdown pass from Avery Dirdahl, the sophomore quarterback, as he would find Max Kirsch for his first receiving touchdown of the season. And the kick was good by Henry Nelson, and the Hawks were up 7-6. On the next possession for Roseburg, though, they'd start at their own 32. They would go 68 yards, benefited by a penalty by Nelson in there. Did have their own penalty that hurt him, but they set it up on a screen play. It's Eckel once again. He gets the screen and goes 32 yards to the house. They try to go for 2, but they are unable to cash that in. And so it would be a 12-7 lead for Roseburg with 8:14 to go in the first half. On the ensuing kickoff, it was taken by Reed Gray, and he goes 90 yards to the house for the score. The extra point was good by Nelson, and the Nelson Hawks took a 14-12 lead, and that is where we stand here in this at the end of the first half. Roseburg did turn the ball over on a punt that glanced off of a player that didn't know it was coming at him. That helped set up Nelson. deep in the Roseburg territory, but they couldn't cash in. Got pushed back by a couple of penalties and turned it over on downs on a 4th and goal from the 20. But then Roseburg throws the first interception of the game on a chance trying to go deep downfield in the closing seconds of the first half. 14-12 our score. That's your scoring recap at halftime. We'll come back. We'll take a look at individual statistics and get a little analysis from Josh Nelson. This is the halftime show. Roseburg trailing Nelson 14-12 here on 541radio.com and on the score 92.3 FM and 1490 AM.
For over 100 years, Douglas County Farmers Co-op has been serving the needs of farmers, ranchers, and homeowners throughout Southern Oregon. Here, everyone is welcome. When you shop with us, you can expect good people, good products, and good advice. No membership needed. Just bring yourself, and we'll provide the expertise and products you need to tackle your next project. Douglas County Farmers Co-op, where everyone is welcome to shop.
Remember the good old days when you didn't have to make an appointment or wait in line for an hour just to talk to your teller, when businesses were local and gave back to the community. At Cascade Community Credit Union, there are some things will never change. We're the only credit union or bank headquartered in Douglas County, and making our members a priority has always been our priority. For easy and simplified banking, visit CCCU. No appointment, just come on in.
Back here at the half from Finlay Field. It kind of feels like, okay, let's reset here at halftime. Hopefully we've got technical issues behind us. Hopefully the weather is on its improving trend. It's cooler at least. It does still seem a little hazy out there as much as we can tell through the dark skies. But we've got ourselves a heck of a ball game, a 2-point contest at halftime. Right now it's the Nelson Hawks visiting out of the Clackamas area from Happy Valley, a new high school, just their second season of football. But Nelson down here in Roseburg for the first time in school history, and they lead against the Indians 14-12. Taking a look at some official, unofficial numbers from the first half. Avery Durdall through the air. He is going to be 8 for 13 for 30, make that 86 yards through the air for Avery Durdall. His leading receiver is Womack. That would be Luke Womack, 3 catches, 60 yards. They do have the 1 touchdown to Max Kirsch, a 16-yarder. On the ground, it's Jaden Seiler leading the way. He's got 9 carries for 20 yards in the first half. On the other side, leaders for Roseburg, Owen Bentia. He is, let's see here, 1, 2, 3. Much better night tonight for Owen Bentia. He is 11 for 14 through the air. He's got 138 yards, 1 touchdown. He does have the 1 interception. And so Bentia, dealing with a bit of a knee injury, does look a lot sharper out there. On the ground, it's been hard going for Caden Eckel, but he does have the 1 touchdown from 2 yards out. He's got 14 carries for 34 yards. Leading receiver right now is also Eckel. He's been a favorite target out of the backfield. 5 catches for 56 yards, does have the 32-yard touchdown catch as well. So far in the first half, Josh, we've seen more of this Roseburg defense, and what you would like to see is less of the Roseburg defense because they could use the break and not have to be always up against it. But they've been up against it. They've given up 1 touchdown. The other one comes on special teams. Roseburg's defense looking stout again this week. The big improvement is we've seen connection with the wide receivers, and that's really helped out this Roseburg offense.
Well, even on the defensive side of the ball, the improvement that we've seen is the tackling. getting to the ball carrier, holding them up yards after the catch doesn't exist really a whole lot by Nelson. I mean, they're doing a great job. I mean, this is a completely different team than what you saw last week by all means. I mean, this is pretty much like a seed that turned into a watermelon, I think, when you look at it. To be honest with you, this thing is just it's blossomed pretty nice over from the last week. Defense is doing a tremendous job. I don't know how many times now. I can think of 2, maybe 3 times now that you're pretty much first and goal for the opposing team, and Roseburg's defense holds up and doesn't allow them to cross the goal line at all. I mean, you couldn't ask for anything better. I mean, that punt, fumble, whatever you want to call it, by Roseburg, the only turnover in the game, ends up not hurting them. The second turnover, I guess, because you got the interception.
I just was alerted to this by somebody on Facebook, and it kind of looks like it's true. I think our game has been canceled. I think they may have just made the announcement, we're going to send our helper down to go check. They're winding up the sticks on the far side. The countdown on the clock is stopped here at halftime. And somebody on the YouTube stream saying that the second half canceled due to the air quality. It is, according to our phones, which I don't know what exactly the official thing is going to be, but our phones are saying unhealthy.
The athletic director for Roseburg, Russ Bolin, and the athletic director, it looked like for Nelson, were actually walking across the field together.
They have turned off the scoreboard, and now we've got to figure out what this means.
And Roseburg's coming back out on the field, but they're actually picking up the stuff, the pylon post, off the end zones right now.
They may be coming out to shake hands with Nelson.
So
is that an official score down by 2? I don't imagine they would have the time to be able to pick it back up and finish this game somewhere else.
There ain't no way you get into a game at halftime down by 2. Oh, and it actually looks like it's cleared out the smoke-wise.
Well, this is first. My phone was saying that the AQI had hit the unhealthy range, but I wasn't sure if that was.
Yeah,
there's so many different monitors, and it seems like everything is reported. So it is canceled. This game is complete, at least
final?
for now. But did you find out? And anybody said? But did anybody say what is it a final score?
I'll go find out real quick.
Josh, we're going to try and get him to figure this one out. We'll see what we can do. Wow. So that's going to be an interesting development there. We'll go ahead and, since we've got commercials to get in, let's go ahead and take a 2-minute break. We'll use up our, let's take that 60-second break and then add another minute onto that one. They're back in the studio, Grady. We'll take a quick break and try and get an answer for you at halftime. Air quality canceling the rest of this ball game, it appears. We'll come back after a 2-minute break on 541radio.com and on the Score, 92.3 FM and 1490 AM.
Successful companies have a very important secret. Good advertising works and makes them money. That's why your business should contact Lotus Media Group. Let us help you cash in with multimedia advertising. Multiple touches from Douglas County's only Google-certified partner and most effective advertising platform. Web, broadcast, print. Make it happen. LotusMediaGroupLLC.com.
Mountain Mike's, pizza the way it ought to be.
Working from a hot tin shed, Paul W. Klipsch, genius and maverick, designed and hand-built his first commercial loudspeaker with the intention of bringing live music right into your living room. Today, we still make them like we used to. By hand, with passion, with pride. Klipsch Heritage Loudspeakers.
Give Klipsch Heritage speakers a listen at Good Vibrations. Top of the Hill, Northeast Stevens in Roseburg.
Looking for more local sports coverage? CBS Sports Radio 1490 The Score has you covered. Check out our homepage at 541radio.com for sports stories, scores, and podcasts. And follow us on social media. 1490 The Score is on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And take the station with you wherever you go with the 541 Radio app. Download the app in your smartphone's app store and get access to a live stream of the station, sports stories, podcasts, and easy messaging with the station and others.
Brook Communications radio stations have joined forces with the News Review and Lotus Web Services, announcing the Lotus Media Group, a multimedia enterprise. Web, broadcast, print. Make it happen with Lotus Media Group, LLC.
Well, for those watching on the video stream, those are the guys we'd love to hear from right now, but I don't have a wireless mic to send Josh down to the field to check on. Russ Bolin down there with a couple of the assistant coaches. That's Kyle Deaver, the defensive coordinator. Teams got together and shook hands. I mean, this was a great first half of a ball game, and everybody was looking forward to what the second half was going to have in store for us. But the AQI, the Air Quality Index, gets too high, and we apparently have had to cancel this one. And I just heard back from Russ Bolin. It will officially go down as a no contest. So it's basically a half of a scrimmage for these two teams. All that work and no results. So these two teams will be one game less on their schedule this season. And the other thing that really that might impact is your RPI ranking, because you don't get credit for this game and how that might have worked out. For Nelson, it was a road game. If they get a road win, that would have been huge for Nelson. For Roseburg, playing a non-conference team, a team that has done well, 1-0, if they could have gotten a win here at home, that would have boosted them just a bit. But now this will be something I would assume factors into that with a no contest. And I mean, more than anything, besides looking at that big picture of possible playoff scenarios and all that kind of stuff, we were having a great first half, a very entertaining football game. We were having fun. I know the viewers were and listeners were having fun. We all wanted to see how this played out. And more importantly, we were starting to get to see more of what Roseburg football could be here in 2022. And it gets cut short here tonight. And look, no one to blame other than Mother Nature on this one. The wildfire smoke rolling into the area has gotten to too high of a level. And unfortunately, the admins, the athletic directors, had to make a decision that they're forced to do, according to the ruling by the Oregon School Activities Association.
Yeah, it's unfortunate by both teams because you don't know what this is going to do. This is probably going to hurt the numbers for both schools because it's going to show as one less game for both schools when it comes down to the final rankings of the season. It would have really helped Roseburg because Nelson was ranked number 17 going into tonight's game, where Roseburg was tied at number 28 going into this game. So you're looking at an 11-point swing if you could have come up with the upset here. I think there was a lot more football to be played, and I don't think the outcome was anywhere close to being decided when it's 14-12. I think a couple mistakes by Roseburg, you miss that extra point at the very beginning. I mean, this is a tied ball game if you don't miss that first extra point. So overall, it's unfortunate, but you got a little bit of shakeup. You got to work on a few things. You got game speed in for a half of a game of football. Get you ready for next week. And what we saw this week, Roseburg improved on tackling, communication between the receivers and the quarterback, the run game opening up a little bit. The defensive line, offensive line did a great job again, as they have in 2 games or a game and a half. I mean, overall, you can't be disappointed in pretty much the turnaround that you saw tonight, and actually probably get you excited for next week.
Well, we were hoping to see growth, and I think we did, and we hope that you continue to see it from what we saw from week 1 to week 2. If we see that continuing on to week 3, I think good things in the future for Roseburg to be competitive throughout the rest of this season. We've got some commercials to get in. We're going to try and do some of that here, but obviously this game cut short, and we don't want to be here all night with nobody else here, so we're going to get in let's go ahead and take a 3-minute break. We'll just mix in all of it here. We'll come back. We ran through some of the numbers, but we'll get you a quick recap and let you know what we know about tonight's game. Unfortunate, but the second half canceled with the score 14-12 in favor of Nelson. It goes down as a no contest here in Roseburg. Back after a 3-minute break here on 541radio.com and on the score, 92.3 FM and 1490 AM.
Hey there, sports fans. Thanks for watching this local sporting event online at 541radio.com. Did you know there's more than one way to watch games online? You can watch games on your laptop or desktop computer, your tablet, or even your smartphone just by going to 541radio.com. But we also use YouTube to stream all of our video broadcasts, which means you could be watching this game on your big screen TV with a number of different streaming devices. You can stream our live YouTube broadcast through your PlayStation or Xbox gaming device, or through streaming devices like Google Chromecast, Apple TV, or Roku. There's plenty of ways to follow this live local sporting event. Plus, you can find past events archived on 1490 The Score's YouTube channel. Find us on YouTube and subscribe today to keep up with the latest in local sports coverage.
To us, pizza the way it ought to be isn't just our slogan. It's our promise and our passion to give you the best dining experience and the best tasting pizza you expect. For over 40 years, we've been making pizza the way it ought to be. Handmade with the freshest and finest ingredients. Our dough is made fresh daily, and we use 100% whole milk mozzarella cheese and toppings edge to edge. There's pizza, and then there's Mountain Mike's Pizza. Pizza the way it ought to be.
Deciding where to purchase your next vehicle is just as important as the vehicle itself. At Roseburg Honda, our seasoned staff is dedicated to matching you with the right car. From sales to service, our goal is to make sure all of your needs are met, and you leave our dealership feeling good every time you visit. No need to waste your valuable time driving up and down the freeway when the ultimate car buying experience is right here at home. Roseburg Honda. We treat you like family.
Oh, yeah.
Remember the good old days? When you didn't have to make an appointment or wait in line for an hour just to talk to your teller? When businesses were local and gave back to the community? At Cascade Community Credit Union, there are some things will never change. We're the only credit union or bank headquartered in Douglas County, and making our members a priority has always been our priority. For easy and simplified banking, visit CCCU. No appointment, just come on in.
Back here at Roseburg High School, fans are trickling out. The band has made its way off the field. The teams are in the locker room getting undone from their uniforms and pads and getting ready to go home early here tonight as we wrap things up after just one half of play. 14-12 was the score at the end of the first half, and then they call it because the AQI got too high, and, well, it will go down as a no contest in this matchup. Joey Kieran and Josh Nelson with you here. Real quick, want to say thanks to some more of our sponsors we were going to get in the second half. Roseburg Honda, buying a car can be a hassle, but at Roseburg Honda, it's different. Customer satisfaction is their highest priority. Visit Roseburg Honda, where they treat you like family because they are family. Also, your complete energy company is Barnes Heating and Cooling. You can visit barnesheatingandcooling.com or call them at 541-459-1545. And by Chuck Swarman Family Auto Repair, are you ready to go where life takes you? We'll take a look at some other scores here real quick, and we're going to have your Mountain Mike's Pizza Player of the Game coming up here in this, I guess now, post-game show. This game does not count, for those that are curious. It goes down as a no contest in this one. So some of the numbers, 138 yards through the air for Owen Bentia, the sophomore, a much better performance tonight, 1 touchdown and 1 interception. His favorite target was Caden Eckel, 56 yards on 5 catches. Jace Wilder had 3 catches for 43 yards. Caden Luther had 1 catch for 3. Jordan White, 1 catch for 18. And Josiah Bazio, his first appearance out on the field, 1 catch for 18 yards. Caden Eckel on the ground, 14 carries for 34 yards. Leading rusher Bentia also had 21 yards on the ground. On the other side for Nelson, Avery Durdahl ends up with 86 yards through the air. He had 1 touchdown pass. That goes to Max Kirsch, who had 2 catches for 16 yards. 3 catches, 60 yards for Luke Womack. 1 catch for 12 yards for the tight end, Connolly Courtney. And Jaden Seiler, the running back, had 2 catches for 5 yards. Seiler also had 9 carries for 20 yards in tonight's ball game. A 90-yard touchdown on a kickoff return for Reed Gray also in this ball game. So again, this one, not going to count. And I've seen some questions on the video feed about rescheduling it. The problem is there's just no time. You're not going to try and make this game up tomorrow and make Nelson either get a hotel in town and spend a bunch of money or drive back down here tomorrow. There would also be the issue of, I believe they've got soccer tomorrow. They're setting up the soccer goals, so the field's going to be getting used, getting officials for that. There's football games on Saturday that would be in play that some of these local officials may be getting used for. There's just the scheduling of trying to turn around and reschedule a half of a football game tomorrow would probably be just too much to overcome. And the rest of the season's already booked, and there's no time before playoffs to try and get in one half of football. So unfortunately, it's just you're short on time to try and get this game in somewhere else this season.
Really, you would be asking them to travel, Nelson travel back down from Clackamas, Portland, 3 hours to come play a half of football to finish this game up. And not only all the other things that you brought up with soccer and other things being in the way, tomorrow's forecast really isn't much different. It's not any better. True. It's probably going to be worse than it is now. And I think that's all up and down the I-5 corridor. I think you'd actually have to go to Bend to be able to play that game. So both teams would have to travel 3 hours just to be able to go try to make that game up. Not to mention, what does Bend have scheduled tomorrow for their sporting event? So the chances are there's no way you could actually get this game rescheduled. The amount of money just to travel to an area that's 3 hours away is already set aside when you see the schedule. Not to do it twice. So unfortunately, you just have to go with a no contest the way it is, and that we all hate to see it. I mean, I've been on that kind of end of football game where football game ends in a tie. I mean, it feels worse than a loss, to be honest, if you're a player or even if you're a coach, because you really work so hard to put everything you had into practice to get ready for that game, and then all of a sudden to have that game taken from you at the end, it does suck. But the health and safety of the kids, the coaches, and the fans comes first and foremost, no matter what. And it's overall, it wasn't healthy for older people to be out, people with asthma, and it's not healthy for the kids to be breathing in the smoke the way how thick it has been tonight. I mean, we talked about how you could smell it. You pretty much smelled like burnt wood or campfire as we're up here in the press box before the game. So that's fine if you're actually camping, but just to be running around in and to get that into your lungs, the particles, the ash, all that kind of stuff, it's probably not very good for you. So we'll look out for the health and safety of the kids, the coaches, and the fans, and we'll move on to next week.
Yeah, next week, Roseburg will be on the road to Salem, taking on North Salem, so we'll look forward to that. We'll take a look at that in just a moment. But, Josh, you had some scores to report of other games that were going on tonight. Let's go ahead and take a look at that real quick, and then we'll get a look at our Mountain Mike's Pizza player of the game here this evening.
All right, so I only got a couple scores because there's not really a whole lot that was going on. I mean, I can go back here real quick and look at cancellations and what has been canceled. But yesterday in Roseburg's conference, whatever you want to call it, I'll call it Southwest
Special
Conference.
District 1.
Whatever. Special District 1. Sheldon beat West Lynn. They actually traveled to West Lynn, beat them 35-31 tonight, as you were told before the game. Glide and Days Creek were canceled. I don't think that had to do with the smoke as much as it did about the power shutoffs, the rolling blackouts that are going to be happening because of how hot it actually has been. I think that's why those have been called or canceled. And then the only other score that I got was Western McEwen Ginzold, however, whatever it is. They ended up beating Oakland 24-16 tonight.
Ooh, tough one there for Oakland. I was looking forward to that score to see how that went for them, and that's not the score we were hoping for. All right, well, taking a look at some other games of note from the conference tonight for Roseburg. You mentioned Sheldon at Westland yesterday. North Medford was at Bend. Sunset was at South Salem. South Salem, part of Roseburg's league now. Grants Pass hosting Caldera tonight. West Salem, also part of Roseburg's league now, was at home against Lake Oswego. Beaverton at Sprague. Sprague part of the league. South Medford was hosting Del Norte, and North Salem was taking on David Douglas, and those Salem schools, again, part of Roseburg's conference now. And Roseburg will play their first league game coming up next week against David Douglas. So that is what Roseburg will play next week against North Salem, who is playing David Douglas here tonight. So that is a look at kind of some of the conference stuff and what's going on. For Roseburg next week, it is at North Salem, one of 2 trips back-to-back to Salem for Roseburg, getting started next week. All right, let's go ahead and name tonight's Mountain Mike's Pizza player of the game. Mountain Mike's Pizza the way it ought to be. They are just 2 blocks away from Roseburg here. You can check them out for their lunch special, their dinner special on Wednesdays, or, if you're tuned in on the radio and you're trying to get out of the parking lot here tonight, you might have a chance of going by and getting a pie before the evening wraps up. Mountain Mike's Pizza player of the game tonight, I'm giving it to Caden Eckel. Eckel had a great night offensively. He was helping move the football for Roseburg. And tonight, let's take a look at it. His numbers on the ground, just 34 yards. Was tough sledding on the ground. Didn't get a chance to really break things free, but was kind of just plodding along and picking up decent yardage each time. But through the air, he really made a difference, and he was a safety valve for Owen Bentia. 5 catches for 56 yards and a touchdown. Caden Eckel, your player of the game here tonight.
And definitely well-deserved by Eckel. He did a great job. You probably could almost give him player of the game every week. But today he definitely did a great job running the ball and receiving the ball, getting that communication between the quarterback and himself down a little bit better than last week, or actually a whole lot better than last week when it comes down to the passing game. So well-deserved there. Also, I do have another score to report.
Okay.
At halftime, South Umpqua was leading Douglas 55-0.
South Umpqua was leading
Douglas 55-0.
Whew, that's a big score there. Well, we will have more scores updated online at 541radio.com tonight. Guess I'll get a chance to get on that just a little bit earlier. Tonight's game has been sponsored by Chuck Swarman Family Auto Repair. Are you ready to go where life takes you? Western Oregon Jewelers and Dr. Lanson Randall, and, of course, B&D Meats down in Winston. Well, folks, that's going to wrap it up for us here tonight. It's been an odd one. We probably need to get out of here soon, though, before they lock us in the football field, so we will do that here. I hope you can tune in next week when Roseburg heads to North Salem for their first league game of the year. A lot of improvement this week from week 1. Final was 14-12 after one half. Nelson was in the lead by 2, but we never got the second half started as the air quality drops, or actually, I guess, raises too high for us, and they ended up having to call the second half of this ball game. So it's going to be an interesting week leading into the next one after how things played out here tonight, but I think a lot of positives to take away for Roseburg going in to next week's game at North Salem. Want to say thanks to everybody that helped make tonight's ball game possible. First, the visiting team, the Nelson Hawks, a new program up there, and head coach Aaron Hazel. Didn't get a chance to talk much about him. He had his brother, Adam, played for Roseburg back in the early 2000s, was a quarterback on that team with Joe Newton, a name that everybody knows. But thanks to him for all the time that he spent with me this week and getting ready for this game from his side of the field. Thanks, as always, to Athletic Director Russ Bolin, Head Coach Dave Heiberger, and the entire Roseburg football program for allowing us to bring you another season of Roseburg football here on The Score. Want to say thanks to Grady Hamilton back in the studio for the radio production tonight. Thanks to Angela Keyran for help with the video production here tonight, running the camera. Josh Nelson, thanks for the analysis and video production. He was running the computer when it was working, and it wasn't his fault that it wasn't working. So don't blame him on that one, anybody there. It was totally Mother Nature on that one. And technology, yeah, I saw somebody say, get a new computer. I was like, I don't know if I can make
this
that
is
happen.
Actually a new computer.
It's a rather new,
from what we actually had.
It's a rather new one, yeah.
Yeah,
so.
It's not that old. It's I don't know. We have to deal with this one game a year when it comes to football, no matter what. Hopefully, since this was a no contest, no big deal. And guess what? The game doesn't count. Next week, we're ready for everything. Next
week we're in Salem, and my phone says it's supposed to be 77 degrees. We should be good.
Should be perfect.
So that is that. Thanks to you, the fan, for tuning in through all the technical difficulties and a weird one here at halftime. Thanks for tuning in for tonight's broadcast because, of course, without you, I'm just a guy sitting here talking to myself. I'm Joey Keyran. We'll catch up with you guys next week on Friday night when Roseburg travels to North Salem High School to take on the Vikings to kick off special District 1 league play. We'll have it for you. Streaming online at 541radio.com, where the video stream is brought to you by the Cow Creek Tribe, and we'll have it for you right here on Douglas County's home for sports, The Score, 92.3 FM and 1490 AM. All right, Grady, thanks, man. Sorry that this was a weird one here tonight.